question to you all to start with. There was a special screening of F1, the movie, last night. Can we get your thoughts? What did you think? Pierre, let's start with you.
Yeah, well, honestly, it was really cool to be able to watch the movie for the first time. I think it looked great. I think for Formula One, for the sports, it's an amazing opportunity to dive into our world. And yeah, it's a Hollywood movie. But yeah, personally, I'm a big fan of Brad Pitt, which, you know, he makes us all look very good as a Formula One driver. And I think the production did a fantastic job, you know, to have the real. Well, I don't want to give too much away. I don't know how much I can say, but definitely hope that people from the outside is gonna enjoy it.
Thanks, Pierre. Charles?
No, it was really cool. I mean, obviously, it's we are looking at it as Formula One drivers, and we always try and see all the small details that are not exactly the way we are living things. But it's just very Hollywood-like, and I think that's really, really cool because it's not for F1 drivers at the end, it's for a broader audience. And I thought that, it's absolutely great for the sport to have a movie like that. The scenes are incredible. I'm super impressed by how the camera was put onto the cars and the angles that we see from the cars driving. I know that Brad drove a little bit the car as well himself, which is very impressive, and I'm sure he enjoyed it. So it's really cool. And I think for F1, it's amazing because obviously we are reaching people that we wouldn't have reached without this movie as well. And there's a cool storytelling as well, so that's nice.
Thank you. And Isack, please.
I think it was weird to watch a movie about Formula One. Like, it was quite strange, and I think it's gonna send the sport into another dimension again. I think it's gonna make the sport even bigger, which is nice. And as both said, I think, you know, it's hard to give a feedback as drivers because we're really critical, you know. But I think if you're a kid or someone who doesn't know about the sport, I think it's the best way to get started. Yeah.
Brilliant. Look, thank you to all three of you. Can we come back to the hometown hero now? Charles, this was a race that went so well for you last year. Just what chance a repeat in 2025?
I mean, if you want a honest answer, then low, because unfortunately our car hasn't been particularly strong in low-speed corners, and there's only low-speed corners here in Monaco, so on paper it doesn't look like the most promising track for us. But in Monaco it's also so unique and so different than anything we race on over the season that we can have also a good surprise once we put the car down tomorrow, which I hope will happen. And if it does, then I hope to be there on Saturday, because obviously qualifying will remain the most important part of the weekend. But on paper, it's going to be a tough one.
You've always been so quick here. How much difference can the driver make, even if the car isn't all there?
Well, it can make a difference. I think there's been years where we definitely did not expect to be on pole, and just by when you think that you have zero hopes, you just go for it maybe a little bit more than people that are trying to manage expectations in Q3, and you manage to do something special, like I think we did in 2021, where we were nowhere all season, but we managed to put it on pole here. So I still have hopes that we can do, that we can reproduce what happened last year. Obviously, it's still very fresh in my mind to come back in this paddock. The last time I was there, we won, and it was a very special moment for me.
Okay, Charles, best of luck to you. Thank you very much. Pierre, let's come to you now. You're sat next to Charles, so I thought we could start just by throwing it back to last weekend. Have you two had a chance to chat about what happened at Piratella?
Yeah, we talked, right after the race, we talked to each other, and then coming here after reviewing some of the videos, we talked as well with each other, so it's all clear. We had a good fight already the lap before turn 7. Charles put his nose in turn 7, and we had like a small touch, and then all the way up to turn 8, we're side by side, and I tried to, fight the position, giving some space, and ultimately thought I could make the corner, and the grip was lower than I thought. So it was all talked about, and as friend as we are of the track, you know, when we get to the track, we'll obviously fight each other as hard as we can.
So all good between you.
Yeah.
But let's bring it on to this weekend. Pierre, you've always gone very well in Monaco. I think it's 5 points finishes for you in your F1 career. Just give us a little preview of this weekend and whether you think the Alpine will go well.
Well, I think, as Charles touched on, you know, Monaco is one of these tracks where it's difficult to predict or have a clear idea of what the performance is going to be at. I think it's one of those tracks as a driver where you feel you have you can have a bigger impact on the performance. It's probably one of those tracks where potentially the car performance are a little bit more level compared to traditional track, and all of that bring good opportunities. So on my side, I see a weekend full of opportunities, quite optimistic about what we can do, and I know it can be a great chance for us to get some points. So one of my favorite tracks, as you said, it's always, you know, worked out quite well around here for me, and I'm looking forward to another year.
It's a mandatory 2-stop race. Do you think that will provide opportunities for you?
I always see things from the bright angle. So, you know, it's I see opportunities. I see some unknown which we should embrace rather than being afraid of. And at the end of the day, I'm not too sure everybody knows what this is going to do. It might actually not change much. I think what's remain extremely important is the qualifying. So we know if you get it right in quali, at least you do a big part of the job. But I'm sure it's going to open up some potential strategy which we'll have to be on top of. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. And Isack, let's come to you. It's been a while since you've been in the press conference. 4 times in 7 races this year, you've been Red Bull's top driver behind Max Verstappen. Things are going well. I just wanted you to sum up progress so far. Have you got to grips with a Formula One car quicker than you were expecting?
Yeah, I mean, I had doubts at the start of the year, you know. Didn't have much testing, so I was a bit worried, you know, if, like, can I handle this car? Is it going to be too fast? But now I don't have any doubts anymore, and I've adapted to it quicker than I hoped for. So far it's been going better than they anticipated, which is, for me, I can't dream of a better start.
So what about Monaco this weekend? You came so close to winning in Formula 2 last year. Do you feel there's a bit of unfinished business?
No, I mean, I think Monaco treated me well over the years. You know, it's where I signed my Red Bull contract as a 16 years old, so it's definitely a special place for me. And you know, what I like about this track is it's the best qualifying session of the year by far, and that's what I'm looking for.
All right, well, look, best of luck to you as well. Let's now open this to the broadcasters first of all. Who's first, please? Mara, yeah.
Mara, Sky Sport Italy, a question to Charles. You were talking about the low expectation before, but you have already driven other difficult car here. Do you think you can still make the difference personally on a track here?
Of course, you believe in yourself, and I know that on street tracks it's been relatively positive for me in the past, so I know that there's an opportunity there. The only thing that I will say changes from this year compared to other years is that we have a very specific weakness, in my opinion, which are slow speed corners, and Monaco being only slow speed corners, it will be a very big achievement and a very big surprise as well if we are a lot better than what we expect. But yeah, I mean, the motivation that I have coming here is always very special. It's a very, very unique track, very different to what we are used to everywhere else, and we can be surprised positively. So the hopes are still high, but let's say that on paper it doesn't look as positive.
Thanks for that. Yeah, David.
Question, David Croft, Sky Sports F1. Question for Charles. Clearly something's not right with the car, and you say slow speed corners, but what's in the pipeline to come for Ferrari after a few upgrades have already hit the track. How convinced are you that the problem can be solved? And internally, have you considered the possibility of just abandoning this season because the car isn't where the team expected it to be or where you as a driver would want it to be?
No, we definitely don't want to give up now. It's still kind of early. I mean, we're getting to mid-season soon, but we cannot afford to give up now. We've seen last year there was a big... the situation has changed a lot since when McLaren brought those upgrades. I believe that in Barcelona will be another very important point of the season with this new regulation on the front wings, and there we'll see whether it benefits us or not, and then we'll have to make the decision on, probably Fred will have to make the decision whether it's the right time to move on to prepare next season. That is going to be super important for everyone to be starting on the right foot. What is wrong with this car? I wish I knew. What's in the pipeline? We've got quite a few things, but I cannot give any timelines or whatsoever, and the timelines keep changing because the team is pushing a lot to bring them as early as possible. So there are things. Whether it's going to be enough to close the gap, to close the gap, I will hope so, but to be in front and fighting for wins, I'm not sure yet.
Thank you. Next.
Panos Itanis from Adana TV Greece. A question for all three. Yesterday we had the Nationale Pilote traditional game here in Monaco. Charles as a guest, Pierre as a captain, and Isack playing as well. So, how important? How much do you enjoy playing in games like that, and how important is it to have an activity that you do all together?
Who wants to start with that? The captain.
The captain? All right.
Well, the enjoyment is probably 100 out of 10. I love football. I love playing. I love, the feeling. I used to play when I was a kid, and I absolutely loved every single game and practice. And now to be able to play in these sort of events, especially in an iconic stadium, kind of remind me of some of my dreams, I had when I was a kid. So to me, it's incredible to live this moment, and then on top to be able to, as you say, like share a moment where you get the drivers, which ultimately are your rivals when you get to the track, to work together. It's quite a unique feeling. So yesterday I'm with Isack, on my left, trying to work out how to go and score a goal, to defend together with Carlos, a couple of Charles we used to play as well in the past. Bierman, it's just a nice event and a nice way to get into the Monaco race weekend. And on top of that, we do it for charities. There was the Jules Foundation Association yesterday that we supported. And it's just great to gather a lot of people. The fans are happy, we are happy, we get some money to support those charities. So it's just a great win for everybody. But it's unique to Monaco. And yeah, it's always I must say, a great highlight of the weekend.
Anything to add? Isack, you enjoyed?
Yeah, it was tough on the legs. It was really tough. I never actually played 11 against 11 on a real size pitch, so that's done for me. It's like, it was weird. It was really hard, much harder than I expected, and I realized also my muscles are not made for football, changing directions, and it was tough.
Yeah,
I nearly got injured.
You nearly got injured?
No, I'm fine.
Not injured?
I'm okay.
Oh, you're okay, good.
But
good.
I felt
Thank goodness for
something
that.
could give up anytime, Okay. I felt weak.
Has Isack got a future at FC Versailles?
No. But maybe in the management, I like his mentality and his team spirit, so not on the pitch. Yeah. He runs, I must say, he's a great player because he just goes all out. Same as on track, he's the same on the pitch. So I'm not too sure for the body he's the best, but at least for the team, it's great.
All right, thanks, guys. Next one, please. Yeah.
Hi, I was going to ask another thing, but now you're talking about football, Pierre, I have to ask you, I'm sorry, Mariana from Band TV. If you're not a driver, would you be football player, and if you would, who do you want to play for? And who's the best player of all times for you?
Well, that's a lot of questions. You're gonna get told off for that.
I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, of all times, who's the best football player for you?
You can't answer that question. It's the same as saying who is the best F1 driver of all time. Different generation. You gotta go for Messi or Ronaldo, but it's one of those two. Yeah, I mean, Zizou to me is my icon since I was a kid. That's the one I looked up to. Whether you can say he's the best of all time, it's always very tricky. But for sure, as a kid, initially my dream was to be a football player until the first time I jumped in a go-kart, and that first lap out there, that dream of football just disappeared, and then I was like, it's all about Formula One now. But I kept, playing football, and to be fair, exactly, if F1 would have not been part of my life, I would have tried to pursue a career in football. Don't think I would have made it, but at least, it was clearly my second dream as a kid, yeah.
All right, next one. Yeah.
Tom Slafer, DAZN Spain, question for all drivers. The other two races of the Triple Crown with the Le Mans 24 Hours and Indy 500 have different points allocation or different rules to other races in the calendar. Do you think that Monaco Grand Prix should have a different points allocation or different rules? I don't know if the mandatory pit stops for this weekend compared to the other races in the calendar?
Sure.
I personally don't think so. At least for the points, I wouldn't change or award more or less points for particular races. I think it's a good system, the one that we have. Whether we should have points for qualifying, maybe this is another matter, because in Monaco, qualifying is super important and it's pretty special. But yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with the system we have at the moment, so I wouldn't change this kind of things. Then we can think about ways on how to make the race more interesting in Monaco, but the point system is fine to me.
That was the press conference with Charles Leclerc, Isack Hadjar and Pierre Gasly. Charles Leclerc won the Monaco Grand Prix last year. He always fought for the win here in Monaco, but something unlucky has usually happened. Either a strategy issue or a crash in qualifying that prevented him from starting the race. This year, the car doesn't seem to be performing at the level he needs. Ferrari is generally struggling in qualifying. However, the race pace hasn't looked that too bad, and in Imola they showed how they could recover after a very tough Saturday. But in Monaco, overtaking is extremely rare and difficult, so qualifying is everything. It will be interesting to see if they can improve in that area this time. Both Isack Hadjar and Pierre Gasly have been doing a very good job so far this season. Especially Isack Hadjar has really impressed me. He's been very consistent and is performing strongly in his rookie year. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.